Quarantine's pivot.
It's working.
Is it on?
You're live.
We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, we
Boys
are
and
live. And we got Chris Spencer up in the house.
Hey, welcome, brother. Welcome, brother. Welcome to the Take Six podcast.
Yes.
Right.
The way I'm looking at you, I look like I could fit into this group
You could.
You know
You're
what?
just about.
easily.
You
Let's
got.
take 7
Don't
shit.
let things slow down.
You got just enough hair.
Yeah.
Just enough hair, just enough
hair
gray.
Yeah. You
Yep.
about right. You about right.
Are you guys
right.
50? Are you guys in your 50s?
Come on, man.
I
Come on,
think
52?
everybody but Joey and KD.
Everybody but Joey, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm joining.
I'm 52 too, Al. When's your birthday?
November 2nd.
Coming
So you're
up.
about to turn 53.
About to turn 53.
Oh,
Man,
you got
I just had a birthday, Chris. I just turned 58.
God, you're 58?
58, baby.
You got to make that face though, Chris. That's the question.
No, he looks fantastic. I thought he was about 57, but he's 58.
That's look
All
good.
right. So let me just jump right into this, man. So I wanted to have you on. We've known you for a long time. We're all in that same, as we've just been talking, we're in the same age group. We've been traveling forever. And this year, nobody's traveling. How's it working out for you, brother? I know you're busy, but what does it feel like to not be on the road?
Well, lucky for me, I the road thing, I was never a big road guy. Yes, I did gigs, but it was like usually specialty things. Like I was opening for Chris Rock, or I'm with Dave, or Damon Wayans, or even back when I was younger, I was opening for Jeff Foxworthy. Right. So all the stuff I was doing was like big concerts, you know what I mean? So I was never the guy that was in the clubs every week. So so even though this has all happened, I become a writer. I've been more of a writer. So I've actually not stopped working. This is the perfect opportunity for a writer because now I can't go nowhere. So I gotta stay here and do this. So it's kind of worked out for me. So
tell some of our fans who are out there who are watching this right now, some of the things you've been writing for and some of the new things coming out and stuff. I've been researching you, man. I know you're doing a lot of stuff, but most people may not know.
Okay, so most recently the Emmys, right? Everything that was funny was me, and then the other people.
Nice.
I usually do all of the award shows, especially if the host is black. So when you see Anthony, Jamie, Kevin, Cedric, Mike Epps, Tracy, Gabrielle Union, Image Awards, BET Awards, MTV Awards.
Male or female, you're in.
Male or female, usually, and it's not because I'm great. It's because a lot of these people I came up with. So if you're gonna host an award show and you want somebody to write funny for you, why not get somebody who you know and knows your voice?
Add the familiarity.
Yes, and I'm great. So add that after all that other stuff. So, they're comfortable with me, and I've just been around so long. So most of the award shows, I created Real Husbands of Hollywood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man. And I'm actually right now writing the movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Are you guys about to get back actually continuing the Real Husbands of Hollywood? Or?
Not as a series, because Kevin is too rich and busy, but as we're going to do movies.
Nice.
So now we can get a little dirtier, a little funkier, a little nakeder.
Right.
And push the envelope a little bit more. Plus, it won't be a 22-minute show. It'll be an hour and a half movie.
Right.
I'm also doing a project with Will Packer, a basketball movie. I'm also doing a TV show.
Hold up. You're not playing basketball though, right?
No, it's over. If I showed you my knees, listen, I'm so tired of getting hurt.
Hung up, had to walk away from the game.
Joel, last year,
but Claude is still hanging in there. Actually, he's looking on eBay for new knees anyway. So
that's
if you get a good look.
and Groupon.
Listen, last year,
Groupon for some hips.
Last year, I tore my ACL watching the finals. I can't do it. I shoot around with my kids, but I'm not playing full court like the McKnights. They got some special syrup or something. I don't know what it is.
Do you play golf at all? Did you take up any other sport?
I'm an addict. I just got off the course right before I talked to y'all.
Nice.
Are you guys golfers?
I play. KD plays. Ben dabbles. He's gonna get out there.
Yeah. This is how I swing a golf.
Oh, I would love to play with you guys. Because I would love for one of you guys to say, I ask you your score, and you would say, I think I got a 5, and I'll just say, no, take 6. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm here all week.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
When you're writing for like the Emmys, that kind of stuff, what do most people not? Wow, are you thirsty?
That's some good water, bro.
There's a hole right here.
Good stuff.
I was so excited when I saw y'all. I ripped the thing off and I messed it up. I'm sorry.
When you're writing like that, what do people not realize about how you have to write? What would you say that most people don't realize about how you have to write for that kind of stuff?
Meaning they think the host just comes up with it on their own?
Like we just think you just come up off the top of your head.
No, so there's not just so example, the Emmys, right? Since it was Jimmy Kimmel came with his writers, right? And then my job with 3 other writers was to write the rest of the show, the in memoriam, the stuff that the presenters did, the first responders. I don't know if you guys saw the Emmys this year. All that stuff is what the other writers are responsible for. Now, usually when I'm with Jamie or Kevin or somebody I know, Anthony, I'm writing for the host, and then there's other writers writing the show.
Right.
So there's a script, and everything you see has to be written by somebody. When they do Tyler Perry is a writer, so what you just saw him last do when he spoke, when he got a honorary Emmy, I forget what they called it. He wrote that. You know what I mean? But there's things like that we write. Like when Tom Cruise was at the ESPYs, we wrote his speech for the ESPYs.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So everything has to be written.
Mm-hmm.
And how far ahead do you have to? How long do you need to really get everything right?
Depends on the show. Depends on the actor. Depends on the what's needed. A lot of times things get changed. The actor might not have read it till the day before rehearsal. And they're like, I don't like this, and now we got to change it. And then the day of, they're like, you know what? I like the old one, and we got to put the old one back. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that many people they have no idea about.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, man, because again, a lot of people don't know how busy you can be as far as the writing portion of things.
Right.
They think they see the person in front, that's the person doing everything, whatever. But no, it's cats like you who are the funny cats who are giving this stuff to these people, and you stay working like forever, right?
Say Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, all those guys, Seth. There's a staff writing his monologue. There's a staff writing those jokes. Then there's also segment producers who have gone out and have interviewed Jamie Foxx and said, Jamie, what do you want to talk about when you come here? All right, I'm doing Spider-Man. All right, how about if Jimmy asks you this and this could lead into this? And Jamie go, I also got a new cookbook. How can we set you up for you to do jokes about your cookbook? There's a writer in all of that process.
Are there people that look like you that are other writers, or is it you?
Absolutely. Like for the Emmys, there was 3 black and 1 white writer in terms of writing the other stuff. Well, Reggie Hudlin was the executive producer. So, and his partner Byron. So that was 2 executive producers that were black. 3 other black writers. We chocolated it up.
So that brings up another point. That's a good segue into, is this a new thing in Hollywood based on current events, Black Lives Matter, or has it mostly been, depending on who you're writing for, does that determine the balance of the racial balance of the equation for writers?
Well, I think it's not like how the 90s were, like we were in and then we disappeared. Right. Like I think we're here to stay. You know what I mean? I think we figured out the game. We were into ownership. We're into knowing the X's and the O's of how this game is being played. So we know how to do other shit if you try to diss us. You know what I mean? And now our stuff is doing so well that they need us.
Now you're getting a call anyway.
Right. And then then throw in some liberal guilt.
Yes.
Right.
Because I'm sure when all that shit was going, am I allowed to cuss on this show? No.
I don't think so. No,
I don't take sis as a gospel group. Forgive me, sorry.
Got you beat.
You know, once all that stuff went down with George Floyd, you know, they were like, yo, what are we, maybe we're racist. Maybe we should call Chris. You know what I mean? Maybe we should get Embryo and give Ida a show and Tiffany Haddish another special. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of that guilt created more projects for us and opportunities. Yeah.
So like for the Emmys, how soon do you have to start writing? So if it's going to be, say, is it 6 months out, 4 months out?
Oh, no, 6 to 8 weeks out.
8 weeks. Okay.
6 to 8, but that's when we start to create the show. Who are we thinking about getting? Jimmy Kimmel's the host. What does Jimmy think is funny? What does his team think is funny? Let's collab. Let's not do that. Let's get this. Oh my God. Brad Pitt fell out. We need to get, you know, Jeremy Piven now. Oh, they don't like Jeremy Piven. We got to go after, you know, Suzanne Summers. Suzanne Summers lives in Ohio. She don't like flying. Get Oprah.
Right.
Oprah's busy, you know. So things are changing.
You know what I want to ask you about is like from the big projects. So you're talking about Real Housewives, husbands of Real Housewives.
Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah. So to greenlight a project, you got something from soup to nuts. How involved is that process? Can you get a project through, or you got to have your whole stable together before you get through? Is it possible for one cat to walk it all the way to the end, to the finish?
Well, it depends on who you are. Kevin Hart, The Rock, Denzel, sure. But what I do is I go grab a Kevin Hart or Denzel, and then I walk into the studio and go, guess what he does?
Yeah.
I come in with the 800-pound gorilla. So that's why I've been, you know, successful when I go into pitch.
Right.
And I go with Will Packer, who already has a deal at Universal. You know, I go with Jamie Foxx, who has a deal at Showtime. I go to Kevin, who has a deal, you know, with everywhere. Yeah.
Right.
Everywhere from Fruit of the Loom to Disney. You know what I mean? So
So hey man, I
try to stack the deck.
Yes. Right. Let me ask you about date night. I've seen a couple of shows and whatnot. It seems like an amazing concept, man. What was the impetus for that, and how's it going? And I know you got a show to do tonight.
Right. Yes. The impetus was we my wife and I pitched it to Kevin, and we were going to put it on Sirius XM, and then COVID hit, and we're like, well, we're not going to just sit around and wait. So we saw the success of D Nice. We saw the success of all these other people doing things on IG Live and Zoom, Flex, and you know, we saw what the DJs were doing. We saw some of these other people doing stand-up shows, you know, and we were like, yo, why don't this will be good practice? We can see if we really like each other,
right? And
do this show on IG Live, because for years she's been wanting to work with me, and I'm like, I don't think so. Let's separate church and state, because I don't. Right. And so it turned out it's been a beautiful experience for both of us.
So to hear you say that though, it's interesting. You're like, nah, and finally you find a project that works for you.
Yeah.
Does it always work, or are you finding, you know, that you're rubbing each other, you know, in interesting ways in front of people?
And that's what makes it. That's what makes it work, because it's honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we only can do so much. Like she can't cuss me out on TV, I don't think. She hasn't yet.
Not on TV.
Yeah.
But we looked at each other like, stop lying. You've never done that for me. You know. So
how many episodes of Date Night have you done so far?
We've done, I think, 26.
Wow.
That might be 26 or 27, something like that. Hold on, I'm about to drink some water with my spilling water.
Careful now. Careful. Easy.
And are you doing one show a week? How is it set up?
One show a week. We usually do Wednesdays, but tonight we're doing a show tonight because last night we wanted to watch the debates and cheer on our girl Kamala.
Now, did you write for The Fly, or did The Fly, was that off the cuff?
The Fly was off the cuff.
Okay.
He's from a black improv group.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Really good.
Called Saturday Night Flies. They're brand new.
And this is when you're allowed to cuss. He knows his shit. I appreciate that about The Fly.
Saw that. He knows when stuff is funky.
It couldn't have been better played.
The only thing better is if she would have acknowledged it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She said, "Sir, I know you're full of it because there's a fly that will not leave your body."
Or if she just
your head, no matter how you shake.
Right.
Or if she just simply said, "Are you serious right now?"
Right.
And just looked at his head.
Some of the memes have been incredible. I saw one with Mr. Miyagi and he had chopsticks trying to catch it. I saw one with RGB saying, "I sent that."
Yes.
There's some good ones.
I've seen that all over.
I think my favorite though is you have to zoom in. You know how you have to open up the picture to make it bigger, and you see the fly has a Biden Harris poster that he's carrying.
Yeah. There's another one. I don't know if you remember a couple months back. They had the naked buff dude. Did you ever see that dude that got famous?
Yeah.
So there's another where you zoom in, you see the brother on top of his head like this.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Oh man.
So what were you working on as COVID hit? That you already mentioned one project.
Right. So I was writing the other project with Morgan Freeman's company. I'm doing something loosely based on my life called How to Survive Inglewood. And usually when we see the fish out of water story for us, it's usually like the Fresh Prince where he goes from the bad neighborhood to the good neighborhood. And in my case and in my life, I went from the good neighborhood to the bad neighborhood. For lack of a better, I don't want to call it a bad neighborhood. I went from the suburbs to the hood. And that, and I want to show the good in the hood in this show because, we hear the word hood. It's like, oh my God, there's Crips and Bloods having, fights in the streets. And they don't realize that a lot of some very successful people have come from, these streets.
Dude,
You know what
that's
I mean?
great.
So,
And plus the hood in LA is a little bit different from the hood other places though. I mean, they got gardeners in the hood.
you got what?
They got gardeners
you
in the
gotta.
hood.
That's the same. Yeah, you have a front yard, a backyard, and a pool.
It's a whole
you never
different
know
thing.
who lives inside.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So, man. So, I know you got to go in a little bit.
No, I'm good. Come on.
You
keep
good?
going. Great.
Okay. All right.
So
Yeah,
who in your dream list, who would you want to work with? Are you trying to be down with the Tyler Perry camp because it's this that kind of thing, or you want your own empire, or
I want my own empire. You know how you can look at a Woody Allen movie or a Tyler Perry movie or a Spike Lee movie, and you go, I know exactly who created, wrote, directed, produced this.
Yes.
That's the kind of style I want to have for my projects.
Good.
Are you moving more that direction into like directing your own movies?
Everything.
You want to be your own 800-pound gorilla. I like that.
Exactly. When they go, we can sell this if we bring Chris with us.
Exactly.
I want to become that guy. Yeah.
Well,
Now, once you become that guy, how much of all the things that you can bring to the table, do you think you will still be bringing to the table? In other words, will you be at that point hiring other young up and coming?
Absolutely. I do that now.
Okay.
I do that now. Yes. I make sure I stay close to these young people because there's going to be one day that I have no heat and I'm going to need them.
Sure.
So, and I don't really have an ulterior motive for helping. I just like to help. I like seeing the young people grow. You know what I mean? It's just a good feeling to see this young comedian who came into my club, did open mic, and then became Kevin Hart. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Some of these guys, just to see them blow up. And a lot of them are they give back. Like Kevin is constantly giving back. He keeps a crew around him. They're all well fed, and he's always hiring new writers and new producers and new camera people.
Like Eddie used to do back in the day.
Yes.
Come to America, everybody in Black Hollywood was in that movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So who's funny to you? Who are you checking out, man? As far as not just new comics, but old comics. Name some names, man. Who's funny to Chris Spencer?
I mean, if you want to talk about like the two dudes like that are like on my wall, like I need to be they're my guys. First, the legends are Eddie and Richard. Then the next tier, in terms of age group, is Chris and Dave. You know what I mean? And then Damon Wayans is in between the four of them. Like Damon was my guy. I was on a road with Damon, so I aspired to be as funny as Damon, as physical as Damon, as witty as Damon, as carefree as Damon. So those five are my guy. But then, I love Earthquake. I love Mike Epps, David Arnold, who's, a young Seventh-day Adventist like a couple of you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's family. Like, our kids grew up together. Julie Arnold is like my sister. So he and I, our lives kind of parallel in terms of us having two kids. We're married. We're comedians turned writers who still really want to be comedians. And so, but I love Kevin. I mean, there's a girl named Ali Wong that's out there that's hilarious.
Yeah, check that
Ida
out.
Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
Look for her. She has a special that Tiffany Haddish put out. Tiffany Haddish, Wanda Sykes. There's some people that there's some people under the radar that people don't talk, that you don't hear about. It. Jay Phillips, brilliant stand-up. Jeff Brown, Buddy Lewis, Dannon Green. I mean, the list goes on. There's a lot of guys that are like under the radar. Sidney Castillo, James Davis, Tony Baker. I know you guys are familiar with Tony Baker.
Oh yeah,
He's the one that does all the stuff with the animals. A lot of people make me laugh. Corey Holcomb makes me laugh. Michael.
Now, these
Black.
people that you're mentioning, are they synonymous with your funniest writers as well?
No.
Like who are your
those are stand-up comedians.
Okay. Now how about your writers? Who you think are the absolute best?
Owen
Their
Smith.
writing is outstanding.
Owen Smith, who was a writer on Blackish when I was co-producing co-EPing on Grownish. He now is the head writer for The Last OG, which is Tracy Morgan's show.
Yes.
He's phenomenal.
Funny show, man.
Kenya Barris.
Yes.
Mara Brock Akil.
You mentioned David Arnold.
Huh?
You mentioned David Arnold.
David, yes, of course, David, yes. There's so many. There's a lot of very talented Black writers that are starting to, even Gerard Carmichael. He's a funny stand-up as well as a funny writer. Lil Rel, funny stand-up, funny writer. Deion Cole.
This is funny to me to hear you now on this side of it talking about that whole tree. So if you were to talk to a 20-year-old Chris,
right,
would you tell him to go the writer way, or would you tell him go the stand-up way or the actor way, now that you know what you know?
20-year-old Chris should have focused more on the road, because I was like lucky, me being cute. I was doing a lot of commercials and things to keep me in town. And I was like, I don't really need to get on the road. I'll just be funny at the Laugh Factory or the Comedy Stores right there. But to become a great comedian, you need to, just like you got to become a great singer, a great performer.
You have to build the base.
You got to be on the road.
Yeah.
You got to work that muscle. I needed to be on stage an hour every night. I didn't really do that. So I would tell 20-year-old Chris to stop trying to do all this Hollywood stuff and get on the road, because, what seems like not important now could be tremendous in your future. You know what I mean? Had I been on the road like Chris Rock was back then, or Dave was, excuse me, all your favorite comedians were on the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Richard, Sinbad, to get great, you have to cut your teeth on the road.
Yeah.
But could you do an hour right now? Or how long would that take for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's doing it
He's a
now.
writer, so he can write 3 hours and have enough.
But I mean, there are people that are like, literally, give me the mic. I could do an hour right now.
I could do an hour right now, yes. Because I've been doing it long enough. But now there's a difference between doing an hour right now and then doing an hour special. So for me to get ready for a special, I need to go do that hour on the road for 6 to 8 weeks, 3 months, so I can hone it.
Chop it up.
Take jokes. You do these jokes, take some out, add some in, take some jokes, add, you know what I mean? So to make it special. But just to say and to do an hour, that's not a problem.
That brings up another point, though. So here's my question. So of course, I'm sure that you've worked with other comedians who have done specials. Yeah. Do you, as the writer, do they take their entire writing entourage on the road with them to do exactly that you were just describing? Add some in, take some out, this works, this doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not so much that the writers are writing their material, depending on the act, of course, but it's like, yo, you started talking about your mom and you said y'all went to the dentist, but today you messed up and said orthodontist. Is it dentist or orthodontist? He's like, it's dentist. All right, make sure tomorrow night you say dentist.
Right.
Or he might go, you said dentist, but orthodontist is funnier.
Right.
You know what I mean? Also, you keep forgetting to do this, and then you haven't done this. And listen, stop doing that.
Right.
That's what your writers are there for. It
Now,
didn't work in Peoria. It didn't work in Milwaukee. Let's get rid of that joke.
So now, are those comedians usually extremely receptive, or do they kind of push back a little bit?
Depending on the act, depending on the joke. I might be like, yo, this joke works. Trust me. I know it didn't work in Peoria and it didn't work in Milwaukee. Watch when we go to Detroit when I have more black people in the room. Or watch when I go to this city when there's going to be more people who kind of understand this joke. This is more of a political room, so they'll get these jokes. Or this is more of a hood room. This joke needs to feel that.
Right.
You know, right? Maybe that audience the other night wasn't my normal audience. Or maybe I was off. Or maybe I just had a bad set.
Right.
You never know. But sometimes you have to believe in you. You know what I mean? These dudes are working for you.
Right.
That's great. You have input, yes, but I'm the guy that's going to be out there.
Right.
I trust
So
me.
is it imply when you were the act that you were the head writer, or like Richard and what's the cat that wrote for him?
Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney.
Right.
Yeah, but there's no when you're the head act, there's no writer title. I'm the star.
Yeah.
And you Negroes work for me. Chop chop. Come.
Right.
There you go.
Come.
So how about this? A situation where either you might have bombed real bad, but it was one of the greatest learning experiences for you. Take us back to that moment. Or you blew it up, but
right.
biggest learning experience.
I remember. Here's a good one. TK Kirkland. You guys don't know TK?
Oh yeah.
T to the mother. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So one night I bombed, right? And so with me, I used to do mainstream rooms and I would do black rooms. I would go back and forth, right? And sometimes when I would bomb in the black room, I'd be like, you know what? These niggas don't get me. I'm too smart.
Right.
I'm gonna go back to the white rooms. And I go to the white rooms, I go, they don't get me. I'm too smart. You know what I mean? So I would go back and forth because my natural language is us.
Mm-hmm.
So if I say Murray's Grease and Magic Shave, I don't have to explain that to y'all. If I go in the white room, like, I use Magic Shave. It's a depilatory with white powder that you add water. It can cause burns. Like, I didn't like having to do that. I like being able to talk to us.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one night I bombed and TK was hosting. He's like, hey man, you're showing fear. I said, what are you talking about? He said, you're just kind of going through the motions. With black people, you need to go to the edge of the stage and let them mother effers know you ain't scared of them and go bang, 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 bang.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, that's been my mantra. Like, yo, even if I have a bad set, it's because y'all didn't get it. I'm funny.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't show
So you
weakness.
have to keep your confidence at all times.
Black people, we sniff. White people go, oh my God, there's a guy on stage. He's a professional. There's no way he's not good. I paid money to see him.
Right.
Not us. They're like, who is this? What's his name? Eddie Murphy?
Same thing with
Make me laugh, Eddie Murphy.
Don't just start cutting your teeth at the Ice House in LA. You lucky to get a laugh.
Make me laugh, Eddie Murphy. I got a cousin. My cousin funnier than Eddie Murphy.
Right.
That's us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our cultures are different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know you guys all play ball. White boys, hey man, you guys got too many tall guys on your team.
Right.
Not us. We like, yo, let me stick this tall dude.
Right.
Yep.
He got knees, don't he?
Yeah.
Right.
We come from a different cloth.
Yeah.
We're cut from a different cloth.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with music. If you're up there with fear in your eyes, they will eat you alive.
Exactly.
Don't even go near to the Apollo. In the school we went to, Oakwood, same thing. If you have fear in your eyes, they'll eat you alive. You got to be confident. Even if you mess it up, you got to be confident.
Right.
So now all the stuff that you said that you've been doing, I mean, if I just had to add up your free time, I get a negative 3 hours a day. Is that part of the
it's all about
impetus
time
to get
management.
working with your wife?
Sorry?
Is that part of the impetus to start working with your wife?
Absolutely. Yes.
Time?
Absolutely. I need to keep her busy. But you know what? It works perfectly for us because I'm an early riser. So I'm up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and I'm in here writing. And then I go play golf, and then I come back, and then we become a family again. And then it works out perfectly.
Love it.
She don't want to get up when I get up, and I don't like. She likes to watch TV late. I'm 10:30. I'm like.
So you've always had the discipline of getting up early and writing and working your craft that way?
I don't want to call it discipline. When they paid you already and stuff is due.
You got a deadline.
Right. And I have to do that for myself because if I go, they go, Chris, go off and write the script. I'm like, when do you want it? Whenever you finish. Like I have to say to myself, let's give it to him November 1st.
Right.
Or else I'll goof off. I was a guy in college who didn't study till the day before the test.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and I'm glad you're sharing this, man, because so many of us, and people think that because we're successful and we've done this, we've done that, or whatever, that it's like clockwork and we just get it done or whatever. And sometimes you have to manufacture dates for yourself and time things and, you know, trying not to be a procrastinator and all of this stuff, man. I'm talented, so it's just gonna happen. And
exactly. No, I have to give it a date. Like right now, this script, the Real Husband script, I wrote the first draft, and Kevin called and says, I want to read it. I'm not ready for him to read the first draft, so I need to do a second draft. So I told him he'll have it this weekend. And that means tomorrow I'll be ready.
That means you got to start it tomorrow.
Yes, I need that pressure.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I have in my mind what needs to happen, but now I have to, you know, I have to actually do it now because I told him I'm gonna give it to him Saturday. And Kevin's the kind of guy, he'll call you Saturday going, where's the script? And I'll be like, Saturday ain't over.
Right.
You'll get it tonight.
It's still Saturday. It's still Saturday somewhere.
It's still Saturday. It's still Saturday in Hawaii.
I'm working now. 4.
That's funny, man. Tell me what time you need to leave, bro. It's like
I got a good.
You got 1 minute.
No,
I like that. He's the pressure cat.
She's gonna be late anyway, so I'm ready. All I gotta do is change shirts. So I got another 10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes.
Jump
I got
all
another
the
5
way
minutes.
all the way back to the Emmys. So I did a couple years ago. I did the VOG for Image Awards, and I'm hearing all of what the director is saying about the stars on stage,
Right.
and they were destroying those cats. What is he going to say? Oh, this idiot! And I have no idea what they were saying in the booth about the people on the talent on stage.
No.
So now knowing that you're a writer, I'll tell you what it is, and then you wouldn't even believe it. I can't say it on here. But as a writer, who does you proud when you hear your words through their mouth, and then who chops you up like, Lord God, I didn't write that?
None of them.
None of them
They're
do right.
They're all incredible.
Oh,
Because I know how to write for them. I know their strengths.
Right.
Yeah.
I know Jamie Foxx. I can just give him a little bit and just watch him work his magic. Some people I might have to spell out the whole thing.
Right.
You know, Kevin Hart, I can give him a little bit and let him work his magic because these are already comedians.
Mm-hmm.
They just need a little bit, and then they just.
This was white, black, tall, short, fat, skinny, and if you're in the game, you're working it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
What's
great.
up, man?
That is cool.
That's what's up. We definitely
It's a great art form.
hanging out with us, bro.
Absolutely. The only problem I have is envy. So one of the shows I'm writing is called Trying Not to Be a Hater, which is my show because me being also kind of talented, it's cool to write jokes because I'm writing for them because, you know, I need to make a living and make sure my kids have dental and stay in private school every month. But as I'm watching, I'm like, that should be.
Yeah.
And then it's worse when your mama calls you and go, oh my God, Anthony was so funny last night. That thing he did about the pickle, I go, I wrote that.
Wrote that,
He's
Mom.
not funny,
I
brother.
wrote
It's me.
that pickle joke, mama.
His funny is me.
This funny is I bought that Bentley. My joke.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I wonder if songwriters are like that too. When you write a hit for Usher or somebody, I guess if you're not a performer, you're excited that Usher is doing the song that I wrote, as opposed to
now that is the difference between music and comedy. So unless you actually back in the day did a comedy album, in music the credits are written out and everybody knows that you didn't write that tune. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In comedy, we just assume that the comedian is all the funny.
Right. And most of the time it is the comedian. Like I told you, the writers are Band-Aids and helpers and lifeguards.
They make the skeleton. They make the skeleton.
But I'm talking about like award shows, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody knows that we're back there, right? And it's okay. It's okay. The goal is for me to write it so well that you have no idea that there's writers.
That you
Right.
exist.
It's just coming out of his mouth. So I'm doing a good job. I'm just telling you as a performer.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us, it's when we were younger, at least for me, when I was younger, I would care about who got the hype on stage. Now, who's getting paid? That's all I care about.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
You know, because all of this is smoke and mirrors anyway. All of this is
It sure is. It sure
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Man, I've always wanted to ask you this question. Joey kind of hit on it a little earlier, but one of the first things we saw you do was back in the Vibe days.
Did you guys ever do the show?
We didn't do the show, but
okay.
I know that was an interesting time, especially for you and the things that I've read and heard about it since then. Is that something you could talk about, what your experience was like? Because it was long ago enough that my assumption is that some of who that guy was is not who you are now. You've grown in different ways, whatever.
Yes.
What was the experience for you?
Well, the show that we sold and me being me didn't get to happen until I got fired. Like right when I was like, oh, you got to have a little arrogance. You got to be able to say, no, I ain't doing that. And no, that's not funny. By the time I started getting my little swag is when I got fired. So I learned a lot. I met a lot of people. It was an incredible experience. And like, if I had that experience again, it would be incredible. Like I know so much more now.
Right. And I think the reason why I wanted to ask the question, see how you answered it, is some of those kinds of experiences we've had as well, and everybody has had.
Right.
And we can take the good out of whatever was bad at the time.
Right.
And, you know, just build upon that. And it makes us so much stronger, so much better, and so much more fearless.
Right.
About the stuff we end up doing. So it was good to hear that answer from you, because I knew, you know, back in the day. And in fact, I thought you were funny. I was like,
I was funny at times.
Yeah. You know,
the monologue was always a struggle, because as a performer, like what was great about Jay Leno would get the monologue with all his writers, and they go down to the Hermosa Comedy and Magic Club and go through it. Like I didn't really go through the monologue like I should have, like he did. But he's great at reading jokes and telling jokes. Like I'm a storyteller, so getting through the monologue was usually when people go, this dude ain't funny. It's because I wasn't a monologist. You know what I mean? Like that's an art to read and be funny at the same time. Did you hear about this? Blah, 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 blah. That skill had to be developed, because that's something I don't naturally do. So most of the negativity about me was, he ain't funny. Look, because if you watch me in an interview, I was pretty snazzy. I was pretty witty, you know. But it was the monologue that is when people flip the channel. You know what I mean?
And so one of the nuggets, though, that you're sharing that I'm learning from the master is you learn the voice, you learn the personality, and then you learn how to feed that beast in a way that that beast will take it and make it theirs. You know what I'm saying? That's an art form, man. I mean, even if you think you know what's funny, you can't give them what you think, how you would deliver it. You got to deliver it in a way that they would deliver it well. And so people don't even see you. And then that's when you've done your best work. That's genius, man.
Thank you, man. I hate to go.
But
Now listen, I can come back after our
how
interview.
this works. When you think you should go, you don't want to go, but you want to be able to say you leaving. You have mastered it, Chris.
Yes,
I'm leaving.
This is your chance.
Hollywood.
Years later.
See how that works? We're trying to be gracious.
I mean, you know,
it all goes downhill after this.
You guys might tell David Arnold and you know, my family's Jamaican, so there's a lot of 7-day. My family's Jamaican, so there's a lot of 7-day Adventists in it. So y'all might know some.
Yeah.
Right quick before you go, what's your handicap?
I'm an 8.
Ooh, you're scary. I like it.
Yeah, depending on, but listen, that could be a 93 on any given Sunday.
Right.
You know what I mean?
All right, that's what's up.
Well, thanks for being here with us, man.
I appreciate this, guys. Thank you.
Spread Love podcast. Where can people reach you, man? How can they find you?
I'm on Instagram, The Real Chris Spencer. The Real Chris Spencer. Twitter, which I never use, is The Chris Spencer. And for your older viewers, MySpace, Chris Spencer.
MySpace.
I heard that.
Those of you in jail watching
on AOL.
Those of you in jail, Black Planet, Chris Spencer.
Help you serve at
Help you serve it. Not AOL.
AOL Black Voices.
Man.
Thank you guys, man.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for being with us, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. All right now.